Hi Bromies, it's your boy Ricky here with Honeybee Stamps, and today we're going to be making a card using some products from the latest release. We're going to be using the Swirling Leaves cover plate die, the Rooting for You sentiment die set. We are also going to be using Happy Plants die and matching stamps, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So we are going to be doing some ink smushing today. I'm going to take down all these colors here. We have Peeled Paint, I believe, Lucky Clover, Evergreen Bough, and Rustic Wilderness. And we are going to get those all onto the glass mat, spray it with some water, and we're going to put down our watercolor paper here. I'm going to pull this up, and it's just a little bit there, so we're going to be using a little bit more water. We are going to put it back down and lift it back up. And we're going to be doing this several times throughout the process. I'm going to bring the heat gun out because we're going to dry and then dip and then dry and then dip and then dry and then dip. So basically now I have another color here. What color is this? Peeled paint. And I'm doing the same thing. I just added some water. I'm dabbing it down, and then I'll take the heat gun, dry it, and then we will move over to our next color after that as well. So I'm just doing these individually. I started them out all together, but then I was like, let me just do it individually so I can get the colors where I want them to be on the color card or on the cardstock. So now that we have a lot of the colors down, we're just going to do this a couple more times, and we're pretty much going to keep doing this until you're happy with the results. I kept going and going and going, and then eventually here you're going to see that the whole thing is covered up. And then we're going to be using this for making the card. It was going to be a background. I was like, no, we're going to make this into plants. So I have all the stamps here from Rooting From You that I would like to stamp down onto this green ink smushed pattern background. We're going to use some intense black ink from Honeybee Stamps here, and we are going to go ahead and get this stamped onto the watercolor paper. Now, since the watercolor paper has texture, you're going to have to stamp this a few times. I don't show it to you in the video, but I did stamp it about 3 times so that all the lines would be showing, on the stamped areas. Now we're going to go ahead and get this sent through the die cutting machine so we can get all these lovely ladies die cut out so that we can see what they look like as standalone. One thing I thought about doing was taking the scissors and fussy cutting the edges off this, but I decided not to do that because I'm lazy. And second, it doesn't actually look that bad once I put the card all together. I was going to wait until the final end to see if I really needed the fussy cut. But I love how these look. They are so pretty. I love the yellows and the light greens, the dark greens. It's so nice. The next thing we're going to do is using the leafy background here. I am going to place a piece of cardstock on top of this. This does not cut out, it only pierces the paper, so you could pretty much make this any size that you would like to here. And then here, look at that. That's so beautiful. I love how that looks. It's like pierced and I just love it. It's really pretty. And you can cut this down to be any size that you want, or you can do a shape out of it. Anything your heart desires, you can make from this. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and stamp out the pots here. I decided to use some pattern paper from this release as well. And I just have some scratch pieces here. I'm going to use the intense black ink again to go ahead and get this stamped out. I did rub them because they are new stamps and I have not used them, and I want the ink to stick to the stamp. We'll use the intense black ink here. We'll go ahead and press this down in the Mini Misty. And then we'll go ahead and get the matching dies placed onto the paper here and get that sent through the die cutting machine. And now that we have those out of the die cutting machine, now we are going to go ahead and do the sentiment. And I decided to do the sentiment on black paper here. We're going to be using the Rooting For You sentiment set. And here I am just trying to decide which one I want to use. And I have decided I'm going to get my acrylic block, And then we are going to use some embossing, the embossing ink pad from Honeybee Stamps to go ahead and get this stamped out. I did use an embossing tool there to make sure we get all the static off of the paper so that the embossing powder does not stick to the paper where it should not be sticking. We're going to go ahead and stamp that down. I went ahead and poured the powder on it, and then I also heat embossed it. Did not show that to you in the video, but we are going to be using the matching die here to cut this out. You guys, every video I say how much I appreciate and love that Honeybee Stamps does this with their sentiments because it's great. The next thing we're going to do is going to take this card panel here, the one with the pierced leaves, and we are going to go ahead and place that down onto the black cardstock. As you could see, I cut the sentiment out of the middle of that because I did not want to waste any paper, and it's going to be covered up by the white paper anyway, so might as well do it. Now that we have that down, we're going to go ahead and put some 3M foam tape on all of our pieces here so that it can stick to the card. And I'm just placing it, cutting thin strips and placing it where it needs to be along the plant and along the pots as well. And now that we have all the 3M foam tape on the back of all the items, we are going to use some Honeybee Stamps glue here to go ahead and get the panel placed down onto the card base, which is 110 pound Neenah Solar White, cut at 5.5 by 4.25. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and start putting all the items together, placing them onto the card. So here I have the sentiment, but I'm going to start out on the plants first just to make sure I get them down to where they need to be. So there we have the first one. The leaf is coming off the side of it, but that's okay. It'll still fit in the envelope. Sometimes I like to see that, like the item come off of the paper. I think it's really cool sometimes to see. And now we're going to place the last pot here, and then we'll put the sentiment on as well. And then that'll complete the card. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. We truly appreciate it over at Honeybee Stamps. Thank you so much for supporting us. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Also leave a comment down. Tell us what you think about this video and about what you like and don't like about the card. Also make sure you head over to Instagram and check out Honeybee Stamps. You can also check them out on all the other social media platforms. They do have a group over on Facebook where you can do some challenges, so check that out. You can also check me out over on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Bromero Cards. You can also find me on YouTube here as well, so you can find other creations that I do. And so yeah, make sure you head over to Honeybee Stamps, check out all the products. The links are in the description, and I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk with you later. Bye.